Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, managing editor of Canada's podcast, Taking Care of Business Today with Paul Cataford, who is executive director of Business Link in Alberta. Thanks for joining us today, Paul.
Oh, thanks for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Well, you guys recently announced the launch of a new pilot program called the Mentor Program. Tell me what that's all about.
Yeah, so well, maybe I'll back up a little bit, tell you a little bit about Business Link, and then how the mentorship
Sure.
program fits within our suite of products and services and that sort of thing. So Business Link is a government-funded not-for-profit. It's been around for over 25 years, servicing entrepreneurs and small business owners across the province of Alberta. Both city centers and out in rural centers. So we have about 30 some odd employees spread all across the province. And what we do is help small business owners and entrepreneurs get started and so forth. So it originally started off as a bit of a 1-800 number with the government of
Uh,
Canada and government of Alberta. And now what we do is everything's virtual and online and web-based and all these sorts of things. So
yeah,
we have a full suite of webinars. We have what we call strategists. So think of that as a business concierge that helps a small business owner or entrepreneur get started. Do they need a license? Where can they get government funding from programs and all these sorts of things? So we service more of a grassroots type of a thing. So not your high technology companies, not your large companies that are looking to build and grow and industry and all these sorts of things. Our clients are tea shop owners and drywallers and welders and people that open up a kiosk at a mall and these sorts of things. The other thing our client base is drawn from clients from a diverse background all across the province. So we have Indigenous clients, we've got new Canadians or new Albertan clients, and so forth. And we have specific programming that caters to those specific needs. So what we find is sometimes talking to a concierge or a strategist is helpful, but sometimes you just want to talk to somebody that's kind of been there, done that. And so what we
mm,
decided to do was to create a mentor program. Now, because we've been around for 25 years, we've got a rich database of previous clients, past clients. We've got a newsletter that reaches out to over 25,000 Albertans on a bi-weekly basis. And what we're trying to do now is we said, well, gosh, maybe we're the right folks to fill in this need or this gap.
yeah.
So, I mean, there's a number of other entrepreneur and mentorship programs across the province, but they cater more towards high growth industry, scale, these sorts of things. Our folks are just trying to get a business up and running. They're trying to get it to the point where they can sustain and support a family, a couple of employees. Most of them are single owner proprietorships so that they don't have to develop a pitch or anything like that. What they're trying to do is just kind of get the business up and running and moving forward. And
Yeah.
so what we decided to do was create this mentor program to deal with these grassroots type of clients. And so it's a pilot project because, like everything else, you never get it right the first time. So it's always a work in progress. So we're going to be doing 3 months. We're going to do three cohorts of 25 mentees, and we've already recruited a number of mentors. I think the latest count is we had over 60 people apply for it. And what
Cool.
we're doing with our mentors, a little bit different, is we're actually going to be running them through some mentor training. How do you have a non-judgmental conversation with the mentee, and how do you make it so active listening skills and all these sorts of things. And so what we're going to be doing is training the mentor, so at least when they push back from the experience, they've learned something as well and can develop their toolkit. And for the mentee, of course, it's being able to interact with somebody that might be 2 or 3 years ahead of you in your journey to small business owner entrepreneurship. So we're very excited about the program, and like I said, it's a pilot. We're going to be continually evaluating it. How can we train our mentors better? How do we set expectations for our mentees better? That sort of thing. So, like anything else, like any other pilot, it's always a learning thing and a work in progress.
So how would it work?
So how does it work? So the mentee would apply online. They would provide a profile of what their business is. Mentees have to be either starting up a business or in operations for less than 12 months. Mentors are people that have been in the business for at least 3 years. And what we do is we have these mentees. We try to sort them out, and what we're trying to do is think of it a bit of it like a speed date or a coffee date. So the first thing is we're trying to do a match up. And of course, the mentor-mentee relationship only really works well when there's chemistry and people get along and they see a real value in the relationship. So the first step is a matching program, and then we also have a mentor training program. And then what we do is the first meeting is 30 minutes. So it's think of it as a coffee date. If it doesn't work out, then geez, you just blew 30 minutes. And then after that, and if it didn't work out for the first person, we'll try to see if we can find you another mentor and that type of thing. And then the second meeting is 90 minutes, and that's a little more in depth. We're walking through a template, questions to ask, these sorts of things. And remember, a lot of our entrepreneurs and clients they're not traditional learners. They're not people that go to YouTube and learn things or go to websites or go to colleges and so forth. They just want to get going with their businesses. They think they
Yeah.
got a great idea and they want to move ahead. So a conversational style interaction is probably a much richer experience. So after 90 minutes, the second interview or discussion, it's up to them. They can take it from there. They can continue a conversation formally, informally. And at the very least, the entrepreneur, small business owner, now has been introduced to Business Link and a whole myriad of programs and resources that they can draw on in the future as they continue to grow and develop their business.
Okay. Why do you think this type of program is important for those types of small businesses?
Well, when you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, I mean, I ran a company, created a company, ran it for 11 years. It's a lonely job. I mean, there's certain things that you just can't talk to your employees about. You can't talk to your business partners about necessarily. You can't talk to your family members about it because they're always worried, is this business going to be successful or not?
Yeah.
And so forth. So sometimes, being able to reach out to somebody maybe outside of your, immediate community is valuable. And so sometimes you just want to pick up the phone and talk to somebody and say, "Gosh, I'm having issues with my employee.
Yeah.
This is a particular problem." Or, "Gosh, I just found out I need to get general and general liability insurance. What's the process for doing that? What types of questions should I ask?" And so forth. So.
Hmm.
It's pretty much a free-for-all conversation, but sometimes it's always better to talk to somebody that's been there, done that.
Yeah, no, that's true. Now, this program obviously sounds terrific at any time, but
Right.
I'm just wondering, is it even more important and significant to have this at this time for
Mhm.
businesses because of all the challenges they face out there in the world?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always something should have been done, 15, 20 years ago. I mean, who knows what the right timing is? I mean, I just started Business Link about 15 months ago. So this was one of the things that I always thought would be pretty valuable for our client base. And I've always personally benefited from having, good mentors and people I could talk to that are always at a stage in their career, a few years past where I am. And you always learn something. So I thought, gosh, this is a resource we can offer our client base. Now we see over 5,000 new clients a year and so forth. So it's a pretty big pool of companies. And so like I said, we want to get this pilot up and running, see how it's resourced, how do we need to expand it? Are people getting value from it and so forth? And then if it's something we think that we can expand, then I think we could scale it up pretty quickly. I mean, we'll need some capital and resources, but we'll be able to bring in sponsors and show them how it's working and so forth. So yeah, we believe it's something that addresses a need, to your point, that isn't being serviced today, and we think that we're the appropriate people to deliver this new program.
So, Paul, when you look at the landscape out there for small business owner and an entrepreneur, as I said, everybody I talk to, from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business to other groups, always talk about all the challenges that are out there for
Mhm.
entrepreneurs these days and growing challenges. Does it surprise you to see the level of interest still there by many, many people to want to be an entrepreneur?
Well, I mean, the entrepreneur business is It's people get into it for a number of reasons. Sometimes they just have a burning idea, ambition that they want to see if they can mobilize and get it to market. Other people are just have a difficult time working for other people, and sometimes they like to be their own boss. And other people are, you know, they have a skill set or a talent or a capability that cannot be properly recognized in a traditional employment environment, and being creating your own business sometimes is just a lot more personally satisfying. Um, Remember though, our clients are individuals, and sometimes a couple of people might join up to start a business, but they're trying to do is they're trying to build a sustainable business that can support a family. And that's really the heart of Albertans, right? I mean, when I go to the farmers market, I see
Yeah.
that kids in the back and all these sorts of things, and I just love those types of businesses. And but if you can create a sustainable business that supports a family, I think that's could be pretty rewarding in itself.
All right, super. Thanks, Paul. So I'm assuming that anybody needs information, according to your email there, it's
Yeah.
businesslink.ca is where they
Yeah.
can go find it.
Yeah, that's our website, and it's a pretty rich resource. It's got all of our webinars, and you can talk to our strategists. We've got up and coming symposiums and a whole bunch of things, and the mentor program is all part of that suite of products and services.
All right. Thanks again, Paul, for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you covering the story and sharing it with your listeners.
All right. That was Paul Cataford, who is Executive Director of Business Link in Alberta. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Managing Editor of Canada's podcast, Taking Care of Business Today. Thanks for joining us.